The coughing baby almost upset the hydrogen bomb.
You're Locked On Sharks, your daily podcast on the San Jose Sharks, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Hello, welcome to Locked On Sharks, the premier hockey podcast covering your favorite team in the Bay Area. My name is JD Young, caretaker at the Reef, also the co-host of Locked On NHL. I want to thank you for making Locked On Sharks your first listen. Proudly part of the Locked On Network. We cover your team every day. If you want to be an everydayer, all you have to do is just follow along wherever you get podcasts, or you can watch on YouTube as well. And today we're going to be breaking down the Sharks' 2-1 overtime loss to the Winnipeg Jets, a game which was very much snatching defeat from the jaws of victory for the Sharks as they blow a lead late. We'll talk about overtime choices, talk about the new system, and we're starting to see some good stuff out of it, and then dig into the numbers as the Jets thoroughly dominated this game, but Vitek Vanecek said not today. So let's start, of course, with the biggest thing that come out of this game. And weirdly enough, we're going to start with overtime. Yes. Sharks probably going to work. Like, we've seen this story before, right? Where you're the cat on the string, hanging on for dear life, right? For the entire third period. You get to overtime, it goes to overtime, and the team that's usually kind of already has the momentum, ties things up, usually wins it in overtime, right? I thought it was an interesting choice to put Alex Wenberg and Colin Graf out there as your first group with Mario Ferraro. And Wenberg played great tonight, and Colin Graf played great in the third period. But to me, an overtime that doesn't have Macklin Celebrini on the ice at all is a wasted opportunity. I don't care if Macklin Celebrini's scored an own goal, -4, just shooting the puck. He is too good and too talented, especially in a situation where you have all that open ice, to not put out. And this feels like Ryan Warsofsky might have big brained it a little bit. Like, if you put Celebrini, Eklund, that's usually their first pairing, right? Celebrini, Eklund out there first. You put those two out there first, and then you want to go Wenberg, Graf to reward those players who have been playing well. Fine. Totally fine. It just feels like a wasted opportunity. And who knows? Maybe the Jets probably still score and right away. But again, I want to go down swinging, and Macklin Celebrini gives me the best chance to go down swinging. And it's not like Celebrini and Eklund have been playing poorly. Those guys connected on your first goal or your only goal of the game. Those are your two best players. You got to go down swinging. I get it. I get, you're trying to reward, but it feels like a wasted opportunity. If Macklin Celebrini is not on the ice at any time during overtime, it feels like a wasted opportunity. So I said my piece on that. Let's dig into the rest of this game. So Sharks hanging in there against in a game which I thought was going to be, I think I predicted like a 5-3 game. The Sharks continue to see the offense just dissipate in the third period. And this game, very much, they almost pulled it off, right? 25 seconds away from pulling it off. A 1-0 shutout would have been one of the most spectacular wins in a long time if the Sharks had pulled off this win. Vitek Vanecek was brilliant tonight, absolutely brilliant tonight, making some big time saves. Got a little lucky with a couple posts, but he deserved a win tonight for the performance that he put out there. So in all situations, Vitek Vanecek, 33 saves on 35 shots, 2 goals allowed, expected goals against 305, 12 of 12 on high danger saves, 3 of 4 mid danger, and 17 of 18 low danger saves. Vanecek was absolutely brilliant tonight. Even on the goal, he gets screened by Mario. The game tying goal gets screened by Mario Ferraro. Didn't really have a chance there, and the Jets had been push like everything they possibly could do to win this game. So yeah, it's you got to feel at least like, I know, right, there's still losses, et cetera, and I know a lot of people are getting tired of the losing, and I totally get that, and it's part of the process, right? And you look at how unlucky the Sharks have been this season, especially with some of these third period losses, right? And this is still a very young team, and most of its best players are young players. And we've talked about it before, and just that learning how to put teams away and finding that extra gear in the third period. And the Sharks just don't have that yet. And I fully expect them to develop that. And I wouldn't be surprised as early as next year, right? Where you just see a lot of these games that are losses right now start to turn into wins. And again, I'm not expecting the Sharks to be a playoff team next year, but I just think that eventually, like, all these one goal losses start to turn into one goal wins. And this league is just too competitive and too close. Where like it's you're going to start to see results in the win column here sooner rather than later. I think this team is too talented, and I think they will develop that kind of dog mentality, or whatever, the Kobe mentality, whatever you want to call it, right? That winning mentality of just being able to put a team away. It's not easy. It is not an easy thing to develop, but I believe in this team, and especially this young core led by Macklin Celebrini. So, but you do have to feel like, right, you outplayed the Flames yesterday, and you lost 3-2 on a weird, on a fluky call, or a weird call. You get outplayed by the Jets. Like, let's not sugarcoat it. Like, the Jets outplayed the Sharks for majority, but you took advantage of your opportunities in this game. And right, you had the 4-on-3 power play that you scored on. You had some other chances that you might, like, to Foley hitting the post. Like, there's a couple of other chances, but still, you're hanging in there and you're taking the Winnipeg Jets' best punches, and you almost pull off the Vic. Like, far cry from right before the break where the Sharks got pummeled 8-3 and looked like they were just ready to go home. Well, they already were home, but ready to go on vacation. It's good to see the effort there. And I thought they did play hard against a much, much superior team. Like, very clearly, the Jets are just a much superior team, way deeper, way more talented. Like, every situation, just they're a better team. But the Sharks were just competitive. Like, they were competitive, and they worked hard, and they, tried to win foot races. And like Mario Ferraro tonight, again, like, if you've listened to Locked On Sharks for a long time, like, Mario Ferraro, not my favorite player, but the dude battled tonight, right? And you look at, like, he takes a puck to the arm. You can tell he's not 100%. He's out there for like a 2-minute shift. Gets a nice little, like, poke check on what would have been I think it was Kyle O'Connor, like, right in the slot. Like, that is 100% a goal. And Ferraro, hangs in there. And that's, I think, the embodiment of this team. Like, they're just going to hang in there. And that's all you can ask for right now for a team that, its best players are 18 and 19 and 22. The bottom six is, there's a handful of players in the bottom six that would be on most kind of competitive teams' rosters. Like, this team is just talent poor, but they're going to play hard, and they played hard tonight. And that's all we can really ask for this last 23 games is, can you just continue to play hard? And they almost pulled it off tonight. So we're going to dig into the Sharks' new system and how we're starting to kind of see some little changes. They're kind of starting to make some positive impacts. We'll continue to talk about Celebrini and Smith, as now Macklin Celebrini tied for the rookie lead in points. And we'll dig into the numbers behind this game and look how lopsided this thing actually was. So we'll get to that here in just 1 second. You just realize your business needs to hire someone yesterday. You can find amazing candidates fast, easy. Just use Indeed. When it comes to hiring, Indeed is all you need. Stop struggling to get your job posts seen on other sites. Indeed sponsored jobs put your posts at the top of the page and help you reach the right candidates faster. If you're in a spot where you need to hire like yesterday, the pressure's on. Every day without the right person is a setback. That's exactly when Indeed sponsored jobs come in handy. They make sure your post is seen by the right candidates right now. Now you can speed up the hiring process with a $75 sponsored job credit. Just go to Indeed.com/lockedon right now. Support our show by saying you heard about Indeed on this podcast. Terms and conditions apply. Hiring Indeed is all you need. All right, before we continue, we talk about the Shark system. Let's just look at some of the little tweaks that we're starting to see. Do, of course, want to thank you guys for making Locked On Sharks your first listen. If you haven't yet, perfect time to hit that subscribe button wherever you're listening to podcasts, or if you're watching on YouTube, again, hit the subscribe button, hit the little like button, notifications, all that good stuff. That way you know exactly when shows go live. Or if you're one of the audio people listening, especially on Apple, make sure to leave a review. It helps the algorithm do algorithmy things. And again, Locked On Sharks, we cover your team every day. All right. Ryan Warsofsky talked about during the break where the Sharks implemented some tweaks to the system. And I think you're starting to kind of see dividend, like it's starting to pay dividends for it. And you saw it in this game a lot where I think the defense is doing a much better job of kind of collapsing down around the goalie. And you're seeing them do a much better job of clearing pucks, right? And especially in a game like this where the Winnipeg Jets had a bajillion shot attempts, right? Spoiler, they had 63 shot attempts compared to the Sharks 31, just at 5-on-5 time. So, right, a lot of shot attempts, the shot differential 35-18, like you're seeing a lot of that. But I thought what the Sharks defense is doing right is they're doing a much better job of kind of staying low. And then as soon as that rebound pops, right? And Vanecek's and both Georgiev, not really the greatest at kind of sucking in pucks and not giving up rebounds, right? Both those guys kind of tend to like hit them and then they usually try to pounce on it, right? You're seeing a much better job from the defense of clearing those pucks out and getting kind of competing more right in front of the goalie. Because that's usually where the Sharks fall into trouble, right? Is they give up the shot and then they lose the battle to kind of, and they allow the other team to kind of have those sustained offensive zone because they just keep losing puck races, right? And I think for the Sharks, like if the defense might have been a little bit further out, where the opposing team's offense, they can kind of get to those rebounds a little bit quicker, try to kind of poke things home a little bit more. And that's usually where the Sharks would fall into trouble. You're seeing the defense be a little bit better at clearing out those plays, right? Again, this game was very much like Jets orient, like dominated. But I think defense doing that, and I think you're also seeing the forwards coming down to help out a little bit more. We'll see if this can continue and as teams are able to kind of, get some tape on it. How do we attack this and how do we, continue to, and then you're going to have to work on the counter for it. And it's the big cat and mouse game, right? Is as soon as you do one thing, a team figures it out, they figure out a way to attack it. Then you have to have the counter, so forth. And it continuously goes on and on, right? But so far you saw it last game and you're seeing it this game of, I think that you're seeing more compete, I think, from the defense. And Jack Thompson, I know his hockey, like if you look at his hockey stat card from this game, wasn't the prettiest. And I think he was kind of lower on there and like he got outshot, et cetera, et cetera. Like those type of stats in this game are going to be well off. But I love Jack Thompson's compete in this game, like in front of the net, the battles. There's one play where he kind of waits a little bit too long as there's two Jets guys kind of poking at the puck. Is like you'd like him kind of to attack a little bit like a split second sooner, But again, like Thompson's not the biggest dude, but I thought he competed hard in this game and made life difficult for the forwards. So they weren't able to kind of set up camp in front of Vitek Vanecek, right? And I think for Vitek Vanecek, he definitely has his flaws, but like most goalies, if they can see the puck coming, they usually are going to make the saves. I know it's kind of like the quarterback thing. Like if a quarterback has a clean pocket, they're usually able to kind of complete the throw, like most throws. Goalies, right? If they can kind of see what's coming, they're usually going to be able to make the saves. Yes, there's going to be some ones that they want back, but we'll see how this new defensive system continues to work for the Sharks, and if they can continue to work on the breakouts. I thought the breakouts, whenever the Sharks had a chance, right? Again, very much Jets driven in this game. And I want to see what happens when the Sharks continue to face competition that's closer to them. Like we saw it against the Flames yesterday, where again, Sharks controlled most of that game against a Flames team that is on paper, they're very similar. I think there's some signs there from the Sharks where they can continue to kind of build and implement this system. Might be okay. They might be okay. So, and this isn't, they're not going to go on some crazy run to the playoffs or anything like that. But it's good to see you're seeing Warsofsky with some little tweaks here, especially when he gets some practice time, right? And that's always the thing with the Sharks and West Coast teams is you just have less practice time because you're traveling way more. With 4 days of practice, they were able to implement some of these tweaks and stuff like that. So, do want to, before we get into the numbers, Will Smith to Macklin Celebrini to William Eklund on the power play. That was fun. That is what we're in the power play. I feel like, again, with Will Smith up there, I'm gonna have to dig into the numbers here since Will Smith kind of got promoted after Mikael Granlund's, but it feels much more dangerous. And I feel like they're getting more opportunities and quality looks on the power play with Smith, Celebrini, Toffoli as your four forwards, and then it's usually Wallman as the defenseman there. It is nice to see that you're right. These are going to be your guys. These are going to be your core guys, and whoever else they continue to add here. It is nice to see that these guys are showing not just flashes, but sustained good effort. Will Smith with a point tonight. I think they said on the broadcast I think it was 9 points in the last 11 games or something like that. He's been playing really well, and we're seeing he's definitely more flashes, and we get a couple good shifts here and et cetera. And he's definitely, a little bit more power play oriented with kind of where he does his damage, which is fine, right? Remember, 19-year-old kid, Will Smith and Celebrini are just on different levels right now. But it's positive to see that one, Smith is producing, and two, you can see where this is all headed. And I think William Eklund had himself a monster game tonight. That goal, we've seen Eklund score that goal a bunch of times, and we'll continue to see Eklund score that goal a bunch of times. But the way he worked on the boards, the way he supported, the way him and Celebrini supported each other, he's really coming into his own as a hockey player. Is a two-way hockey player who is would be a legitimate top six player on most teams, right? Not just on the Sharks where they're just talent poor. He's a legitimate hockey player, and it's legitimately good hockey player. Legit, soon to be a great hockey player. Maybe not the star power that Celebrini and Smith are going to have, but can he be a top six, potentially top line guy on a playoff team? I think yes. I think you're just checking off answers with Smith and Celebrini and Eklund right now of what these guys are kind of heading towards or going towards. And I think Eklund this season checking off a lot of boxes for you. So we'll continue to dive into this game. We're going to look at the numbers. Spoiler, they are not pretty. So we'll dig into the numbers here. in just 1 second. All right. Want to, of course, thank you guys for making a Locked On Sharks your first listen. When you're done with this podcast, go check out one of the other shows here at the Locked On Network. Of course, you have Locked On Fantasy Hockey. They got you covered for ads, drops, all that good stuff. Who to start? I think playoff. I don't know if fantasy hockey playoffs have started. I don't play fantasy hockey. I've actually quit like fantasy sports. It's really weird feeling, but kind of relieving. So, but if you're into fantasy hockey, good for you. Go check out Locked On Fantasy Hockey. They've got you covered there. Or check out any of the shows here in the Bay Area. You have Locked On Niners as they get you ready for free agency in the draft. Locked On Warriors, Jimmy Butler saving the Warriors, ? And then Locked On A's and Locked On Giants as spring training is here. They play like 30 spring training games. Could you imagine that? That's ridiculous. It's like 200 games a season. That is insane. Anyway, so go check out any of those shows wherever you get podcasts. And of course, you can watch on YouTube as well. Okay. This game, again, very Jets. If you look at the shot attempt chart from like the Corsi 4, it's very like especially in the third period when the Jets were pushing like crazy to try to tie this game. We had 48-46 of 5-on-5 time, 63 to 31 shot attempts at 5-on-5, of course, in favor of the Jets, 27 to 13 shots, 22 to 14 scoring chances, 15 to 6 high danger chances, and then 2.31 to 1.35 expected goals for all in favor of the Jets. The second period for the Sharks, a couple of power play opportunities in there, but at 5-on-5, Sharks kind of sneaky hung in there. 13 to 14 shot attempts in favor of the Jets, 5 to 6 actual shots, 6 to 6 scoring chances, 3 to 4 high danger chances, like 0.61 to 0.58 expected goals for in favor of the Sharks there. Like, okay, like we can live with that. It's just, can you do it in the third period? And the answer is no. 26 to 8 shot attempts at 5-on-5 in favor of the Jets. 12 to 3 actual shots at 5-on-5. 0.6 to 0.28 expected goals for. The Jets just put the hammer down in the third period and didn't look back. So, again, like you have to hold your head high. Like you hung in there. You very much you took the Jets' best shot and you forced them to overtime. You got a point in a game that I didn't expect them, to be honestly, to have any business being in. Like if they play the same game, 10 times, like it's probably like a 5-2 type of win most of the time. So, but they hung in there. Looking at the forward lines, the only change we had in this game was Grundstrom came in for Walker Dewar. Eklund Celebrini into Foley played 13-15, 10 to 16 shot attempts, 6 to 8 actual shots, 0.48 to 0.26 expected goals for, 3 to 3 scoring chances, 2 to 3 high danger chances. That line was very dangerous. Or again, like it is, all these are going to be very much quality over quantity. Celebrini line looked good tonight. They had some opportunities. Like they're just continuing to do their thing. Next, Cunnin, Sturm, Colin Graff played 934, 6 to 17 shot attempts, 4 to 6 actual shots, 0.25 to 0.43 expected goals, 4 to 7 scoring chances, and 2 to 2 high danger chances for that line. I thought Colin Graff did look really great in the third period. As you can see that jump in his step, but him kind of, they're pulling a little bit more offense out of him of like, you got to be a little bit more aggressive here, kind of take, be smart, but you got to try to do a little bit more and with them. Cunnin did have a pretty brutal turnover at one point behind the net that Vitek Vanecek bailed him out, but whatever, Zetterlund, Wenberg, Will Smith played 834, 7 to 8 shot attempts, 2 to 2 actual shots, 0.27 to 0.29 expected goals for, 3 to 4 scoring chances, 1 to 3 high danger chances. Like Wenberg looked Wenberg looks great tonight. Every once in a while, Wenberg, I tweet this out. Every once in a while, Wenberg reminds you he's got some silky hands, and he did that tonight. Weird decision, I think, to put him starting the game out. So what do I know? I'm just an idiot. So, weird decision to have him start overtime. But again, I'm just an idiot. Goodrow, Ty Dellinger, Carl Grunstrom played 734, 5-9, 0 to 4 actual shots, 0.14 to 0.14 expected goals for. Goodrow had a pretty solid chance that I think he was all alone in front of the net. And the same thing with Dellandrea, all alone in front of the net and just kind of bobbled it there. That's going to be one I'm sure he's going to wake up in the middle of the night thinking about that opportunity from him. So it is what it is with the fourth line, like the bottom six. I think that's one of my career's big offseason things is going to be to revamp that. But anyway, let's look at the defensive pairs. So again, the Corsi is not going to be favorable, especially when you get outshot by as much as the Sharks did in this game. Thrun Wallman, 16-19, a respectable 45.71%. Corsi 4. Ferrara Mukamadulin, 6-11, 35.29%. Corsi 4. And then Vlasic Thompson, 2-12, 14.29%. Corsi 4. So again, I thought Vlasic played okay. I thought Thompson, again, I talked about Thompson. I thought he played pretty well tonight. Ferraro, dude, he had a good game. Like, again, I'm not the biggest Ferraro fan. Dude was a monster tonight, was a warrior. I thought Wallman looked pretty good too. He had a really nice stick lift to kind of save a goal at one point. And even like Thrun, the same thing, I think played pretty well. Like, I think the new system and Thrun, they might, whatever tweaks, I think are kind of, you're seeing Thrun, I think, play a little bit better here. So, which is good to see for him. So, yeah, it feels like you let one off there. But again, Matthew Schaefer's going to look super sick in teal as the Sharks have a 3-point lead on the Chicago Blackhawks right now for the number 1 pick with 2 games in hand, or the Sharks have played 2 more games. So 3-point lead. And yeah, Sharks have 38 points to Chicago's 41. Sharks have played 59 games to Chicago's 57. So yeah, we're firmly in the driver's seat of the tank right now. So and kind of looking at the schedule, Chicago's schedule down the stretch, like they do have a much easier strength of schedule than the Sharks here. So discussion for another day, but they do play some of these bottom teams here, while the Sharks still have a fair, like the Sharks have to play the Oilers 3 times, and they got to play we got to play the Oilers 3 times. They got to play the Leafs twice. They got to play the Canes again still. Like, Chicago does have some more winnable games down the stretch. So that's going to be it for me today. We'll be back tomorrow, so make sure you follow along wherever you get podcasts. And, of course, you can watch on YouTube as well. Follow the show on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram at Locked On Sharks. Follow me on Twitter and Blue Sky at MyFryhole. Till tomorrow. Bye, friends.